Your life doesn't actually suck. You just gotta lock in. Or that's what people on social media want you to believe at this point. I feel like the term lock in has become more popular than it's ever been in recent time. And I'm somebody that's personally been using locked in my entire life. So I feel like locking in can be used in a universal term for most things. A good example of this is a few years back, I really decided to lock in with my whole life with everything. For those of you guys that don't really understand what locking in is or a lock in is, it's basically just focusing extremely hard on something or just kind of not fucking around anymore. And it goes for anything. Like me, the most broad version of lock in is just locking in with your life and your career, basically. So for me, a few years back, I really made a point to lock in and better myself. And that meant me stepping away from all social medias, not really going out as much, just staying in the house, saving money. Basically, just not focusing on anything that wasn't important. So I wasn't really reaching out to girls like that. I wasn't going out of my way to go out or do anything. I was kind of just working on myself and making money. And during that time period, I took 10 months away from all social medias, everything basically. I'm not texting anybody. I was just doing my thing. And bro, to be honest, that was one of the most successful, most stressless time periods of my life. I was just focused on me and doing what I had to do. And it felt good, like not worrying about everybody else's stuff on the outside. I'm not really worried about what so and so are doing or everything that's happening on in the news. The only thing that was really mattered was like, what was present and what was going on with me currently. I think that a lot of people need to eventually lock in life in that way too. Like just step away from all the stuff that doesn't really matter, and you'll be surprised about how much progress you make and what you're trying to get done.
Addicted to that money, man, I always gotta have it.
You're
My
fucking with
wrist
Shoku
say
Radio.
I'm in traffic, call Jurassic. My shooter know the hit. He get instant, make a classic. We throw it in the basket. May play just like a magic. Serving with my lip, they gon' let
But we also live in a day and age where if you really want to push your business forward or push your brand forward or push anything forward that you're working on, you kind of have to use social media. I found not being on social is very productive, but at the same time, you really need it nowadays. Like it's part of everything. So say you were a successful business without social media, you'd be 100 times more successful with it. And so it puts you at the spot that like you kind of have to be on it nowadays. But taking these period breaks to really work on yourself and focus on what's important, I think is really beneficial for most people. And I think it will really help. Because when you are on social media all the time, you're seeing what everybody else has going on. And that's cool, but that's not really what's important. So you can be somebody that's in your 20s and you got a lot of stuff going on. You have like a successful business, you take care of your family, friends, or whatever, loved ones. You have a nice car, like you're doing your thing. But then you're on social media and you see somebody that's 16 years old doing exactly what you're doing, and it kind of makes you feel like, damn, I gotta lock in. You really take this point of I gotta stop playing around and I really gotta focus and lock in, even when you're already doing well. And that's why I really believe comparison is truly the thief of joy. It'll make you feel like you're not doing anything, even though you're doing exactly what's best for you and who you are. At the end of the day, you're not them and they're not you. So comparing yourself to others is always gonna be unbeneficial for what you got going. Locking in can be used for a various amount of things. Like anytime I'm playing games with the homies and one of my friends that isn't as good at games is kind of getting a little too close, I might have to lock in. I might have to sit up and stop playing around with them. It's just, it goes for so many things. Or say you're trying to get your money up. So you've been having to like lock in and really focus on making more money and spending less money. Like you really have to focus on certain things. And I feel a lot of people jump around too much instead of really locking in on one thing at a time and getting that done and then seeing how that goes. You really have to put a lot of focus into a lot of things, and people just they're not willing to put that full focus into stuff. And that's why I'm saying like locking in as a mindset, it can be very beneficial for the way that you view certain things. There was a time time period where every time me and my friends would hop on Apex, or before we would hop on to play Apex, we would send this meme, and it's basically this baby, and we would always say, "Bro, it's time to lock in. Y'all ready to lock in or lock in?" Question mark. Because Apex is not a game that you could just hop on and fuck around. Like, the game is so sweaty that you truly have to lock in when you play it. And so it's just funny. We would send this picture every time we're about to lock in. You guys don't understand the amount of times I've been playing one of my friends at Smash Bros Ultimate to be specific, and I'm using one of my characters that's one of my more secondary characters, and I'm doing lazy combos. I'm not really trying that hard. But then they start getting a little bit too close, and now it's like, alright, it's time to lock in. So I sit up a little bit, I focus, I start doing the harder combos that you have to focus on more, and I'll win the game. I'll literally say out loud, okay, nah, fuck that, I'm about to lock in. It's a mindset thing, it's a mental thing. So there's a lot of times that I use lock in that type of positive way, man, just to kind of realize, okay, I'm fucking around, I'm not paying attention as much as I should, let me lock in. The amount of comments I see under social media of like successful young people or successful people in general, where people are in the comments like, I just gotta make more money, or I just gotta lock in. Or sometimes I'll even see people comment under really beautiful women's pictures, and it'll just be guys in the comments like, damn, I gotta make more money. And it's just because I feel like that's the point that we're in society, where we know, like, you only get valued as high as what you can bring to the table. So if you lock in and you have a lot of money and you have status, they think that that's going to get them the women. And the sad reality of it is that oftentimes that clout or whatever honestly will get you the women, and it will get you a lot of attention. So we're kind of in this culture where all everybody wants to do is lock in. Locking in is just the universal answer what to do. You don't know what to do? Just lock in, bro. Just lock in. It'll figure itself out, bro. Just lock in. Social media will put this pressure on you that you didn't even know you had before. You didn't even know this person besides when you saw them on a random video you scrolled past, but now you're comparing your whole life to them. Like, it's a pretty crazy thought, but that's just how a lot of people work, and I feel like that's what's going on. You'll see a lot of people get out of a breakup, and then the only answer to do after that is, obviously, you just gotta lock in, bro. Get in the gym, work on yourself, get your money up, the same old stuff. It seems to be the universal answer is just to lock in. Once I feel like you get to that point that you're doing it for other people's validation, you gotta lock in and get money and work on yourself and stuff like that, so that you can get your old girl back, or so that people will think you're cool and likable. I feel like using that as motivation initially is just something that a lot of people do. It's just the facts. We've all been there, but I feel like eventually you got to grow out of that. Like, you got to do it for yourself. You should be locking in for you. You want to be better for yourself, not because you're trying to get anybody else's validation. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to duck off and just lock in. It's not fun necessarily, but it's mandatory to focus on what you want to achieve. Like, or it can be on a small scale. There's a rush at your work, you're on cash register, and you really got to lock in. You're trying to get everybody out the store as fast as possible. Or you're trying to beat your friend at a game of bowling, or you want to improve your physique and your overall health. These are all things that are smaller, but you have to lock in for. There's just certain moments that just require more focus, and it requires you to really give the task at hand full attention to it. I always think that this meme is so hilarious, because it's just putting everything that I've been saying or thinking into physical form. And I was on Instagram just scrolling, and I was watching a story, and one of my homies posted this, and it just had me dead. Bro, this is really how everybody views locking in, and or at least how this is how my life has currently been as of recently. You just lock in and you just keep doing it over and over and over again. But it gets to this point where it's like, locking in can only do so much. And I feel like this meme really shows that perfectly. Although you do have to lock in certain aspects, it can't be the answer to everything. Although it seems like the answer to everything, if that makes sense. There's other ways to approach situations than just locking in. And The thing is, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm basically just like this picture. That's exactly how I view life at this. I'm trying to make this YouTube channel successful. I gotta lock in. I'm trying to get my money up, so I gotta lock in. I'm trying to move out into my own spot. I gotta lock in. All these things are things that I've had to focus on, but it's something that it doesn't happen in a day. Although I've been focused and locked in on it, it's still a process, and it's something that you have to realize it's not easy regardless. So just imagine if you weren't putting any focus into it, how hard it would be. So understand that locking in is not, it's not going to give immediate success to everything, but the whole mindset switch to just understanding that sometimes you just got to focus, man, and just get it done. I feel like that's still a positive way to look at certain. So remember, take some time for yourself. Understand that your life doesn't suck. You just gotta lock in. All seriousness, guys, treat yourselves well, work hard, focus on what you need to get done. And if you like this type of video, let me know by giving me a like and comment on the video. And if you really liked it, subscribe so you guys can see more stuff like this. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. I have 75 right now. We're on the way up, you know, staying humble. But if you guys like this type of video, please subscribe and let me know what you guys think. And for all of you guys that made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you. I got one question for you guys. What are some recent animes that you've been watching? I'm looking for some suggestions, some good recommendations, but mainly for like older stuff. So like 2010s, early 2000s. I'll even take like some 90s stuff. So if you have any suggestions on good older anime, please put some down below and let me know what you guys been watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.